My brother, the Commander-in-Chief of the Radio Microphone Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the DG, thank you for finding me worthy to deliver this lecture this day. If Radio Nigeria is to be a political party, that will be my real party. For one reason, uplifting the people and uniting the nation. This is the essence of what our change mantra stands for. Your Excellencies here, too numerous to mention. This is why I find it easier to say, my people, my people. As you can see, I've just been drafted in to be a guest lecturer. And in my usual characteristics, I'm not used to a written text. So do not expect from me a formal lecture. I'm going to give a talk. Because in the first place, I'm not qualified to be a lecturer. How can I be a lecturer when professors are here? What qualification do I have? And if I want to sound like a lecturer, they will begin to mark my thesis. But thank God also that I'm here giving a talk in the name of lecture, and professors are sitting down listening to me. What a wonderful day. This must go down in my CV as man who lectured the professors. But on a serious note, if my views have been consulted, and if Ladan had discussed with me before this invitation for this lecture, I would have chosen a topic more suitable to my talent. I would have loved to discuss of free education as an instrument for national development. I would have liked to talk about philanthropy, but here he dragged me to speak on a very controversial topic, change. And I'm not Muhammad Buhari, the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the Change Armed and Armless Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So asking me now to speak on this change is like setting a trap for me. But let me say to you, ladies and gentlemen, I will speak and bear my heart. But in this lecture, and by the way, there will be no handout at the end of this lecture, so make sure you make your notes. I will bear my heart, and I will tell Nigerians how I feel about the entire entity called this nation, because of my genuine concern for this generation and subsequent generation of Nigerians yet unborn. In other words, this is the only golden opportunity for us to get it right. And if we don't get it right now as a nation, we can as well forget it. This is why this very topic is very crucial at this moment. But let me come back to this topic. Managing change in a democracy, the Nigerian situation. Rather than sounding like a lecturer, let me take a more practical approach by first of all try to understand what does Salisu Ladan and his people want me to talk about. Managing change in a democracy, the Nigerian example. And for those of us who understand, let me take a definition now. My lecture has started, by the way. Managing, for me, is simply running a thing, business. Be it government, be it organization, be it a family. Everyone is a manager in one form or the other. But here, from the Webster New Dictionary, defines managing as directing, if you like to use the word. with a certain level of skill towards ensuring the compliance in an organization. But that definition is not relevant for what I want to talk about. Because for me, managers are those who maintain the status quo and who go by the rules and regulations of an organization. So bringing a manager to a change will not be the right terminology, but rather you can bring a leader to a change. But the pivot upon which this lecture will rotate is the word change. What is change? Let me also tell you, from that same dictionary, it gave me a very nice definition, which is doing something new in a radical manner. And that quickly hit my heart to say, that's the picture Nigerians have of President Buhari before they elected him. The Buhari of change, the Buhari of queuing online, the Buhari of zero tolerance to corruption. That's what brought him in. To some people, my question will be, does change mean doing something differently in a democratic structure? Does change mean changing from one form of government to another form of government? Does change connote replacement and displacement reaction in the course of election? Because in chemistry we said elements that are higher in the electrochemical series must always displace those lower in the electrochemical series. So given parties that are higher in the number of people will always displace those parties that have less number of people. Is that the change we're talking about? And my idea is that you could change a government without changing the living standard of the people. That is not change. You can change a minister and change a service chief without actually changing the system. That is not the change I think you want me to talk about. We are talking about change that really reflects positively on the life of the ordinary man. But let me say to you that change has come and change is here with us. But let me reserve it. I'll bring it again later in the course of this lecture. But let me again define the word democracy. Democracy is that form of government where the supremacy of the people will always reign. In other words, government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But democracy came like a wild wind from America, traversing all over the world. Some places creating havoc, and some places creating development. And nations that understand the essence of democracy have developed with it. And nations that do not understand have become down in the course of democracy. That again is a serious matter for debate. How have we fared in democracy in Nigeria? What has democracy produced for us? Let me say to you, shockingly enough and surprisingly, democracy in Nigeria has produced for us only political leaders without state leaders. Democracy has produced for us politicians who think about the next election constantly and not state leaders who will think about the next generation. So the challenge we have today is that in the course of democracy in Nigeria, once you get elected into office, your next action plan is how to win the next election, and not necessarily how to put food on the table of the common man. This is the type of change we need to address. Because people say you could change. Thank God people are not changing their wives and not changing their husbands. Because change in a democracy is quite a different story. let me say something here before I go on. Do you know if you take a bottle of Coke and pour out the Coke inside the bottle of Fanta, and you drink that bottle of Fanta, you're not drinking Fanta, you're drinking Coke. So changing the container does not amount to change, but changing the content. I also buttress this point in relation to democracy. So back again, we are looking for leaders in a democracy and not managers in a democracy. And thank God that President Muhammad Buhari, today, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, has the characteristics, the attribute, the personality that signifies change. And I want to tell all Nigerians that we are now in the right place. So democracy for me, and for those of us who agree with us, is that democracy in Nigeria has not been well practiced. Maybe this is the first time the masses of Nigeria desiring change could come out in a mass to vote a leader of their choice. Before, police, former IG, with due respect, INEC, army, determine who occupies a political position in Nigeria, and those who control the means of production, cash. That is not democracy. That is democracy. The experience we had in the last election, where you can see people literally with gun carrying boxes with uniform, is rather less than what democracy has asked us to do in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So that change in democratic structure must come. And I want to commend President Buhari for the changes that is going on. And I'm told that the committee has been set up to review the elections that just took place and the role of the military and police and INEC in that matter. That might be the way to start. So if there's action taken now, and different action taken as a deterrent, next time when you call an army man or police or INEC to do the wrong thing, he will tell you Buhari is by the side. Because the fear of Buhari is the beginning of political wisdom.